Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Bucket and Hoosier Show. Another fun Monday night. I'm laughing. We'll get into why I'm laughing because we were just talking about something that is definitely off the wall. And but he is Bucket. I am Hoosier, and we're here to give you guys a quick rundown of what happened this last week in the Rocket League community. Bucket, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm perplexed, man.
Do I have you lost?
I think my controller disconnected my brain.
So I posed a question to Bucket. I have friends that we definitely get into some weird off the wall topics, and he had just sent me a tweet about a woman who's doing remote viewing, and I asked you if you think remote viewing is legit or are these people a farce. And I was explaining to you what remote viewing was, which is somebody who goes into a trance-like state and they can then leave what would be their earthly body, and they can move around the earth and sometimes universes or other planets, and can see things that are going on in real time and can remember it all and come back to their actual physical body. I don't know what, like, have you, I'm guessing you never even heard of that.
Oh, sounds made up, bro. There are things that can't be explained that are possible, I believe, but
because it's
I'm
in
not sure
it's
how
actually
far that it goes.
it's in declassified documents that the CIA was working to try and get people to be able to do that.
Nah, man, you got me. You win.
I don't think
It's quite possible that you just made all that up, and I have no idea. I've never heard of it. But if it is real, it wouldn't surprise me, honestly.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. It's I don't know. Have you ever really how seriously have you ever tried meditation?
Not very.
Okay. So I've tried, and some of the things that people describe as when you get to certain points in the meditation of like you can feel yourself getting to the point of I'm calm enough that I can still feel my fingers and toes, but I'm in you're almost in this numb type state, and it's supposed to be in that realm of your mind, of you being able to like calm your brain, that you almost, how do they describe it, that you would be able to actually detach yourself and not run the risk of like hurting yourself when doing it. So it's a very it's kind of it's almost kind of scary to try and do, because you're not like, you want to talk about the realm of unknown, but you have no clue where you're going to end up if you were to even make it to that state and do it, if it is possible. I have not been able to achieve it myself.
Yeah, man. Sounds like the ultimate goal in meditation, but I have no experience with that.
B. Davis chiming in. Insert what the fuck meme. Yeah, I threw Bucket a curveball there to start, so I was kind of curious what his full thoughts would be on that. But that's a lot to unpack if that's the first time you've ever heard of that.
Yeah, I just think back to Parks and Recs when Ron is taken to a place to meditate with Chris, and he was like, wait, what were you doing that whole time? He was like, I thought about absolutely nothing. Nothing at all crossed my mind, Ron said. And Chris was like, it usually takes people years of practice to be able to do that. So that's what I think about. Like, it's quite possible to clear your brain so much to be able to like reach this higher state, but I don't know if you can detach yourself from your physical body. You're losing me.
To be able to like hit that state of not thinking about anything, like you're just, it sounds hippy dippy, but you're just being. It took me about 2 weeks of actually like consistently doing it before I could finally get myself to a point of, all right, I'm like, I'm just here now, and that's it. And there was nothing floating around in my head. So it is possible, but yeah, it can be difficult. But Ron Swanson, yeah, he doesn't give a shit.
No.
He doesn't care. Oh, but what has been happening this past week? You said you saw a couple of things. What did you see in the Rocket League community this past week?
Usually just what you are floating around on the new X Twitter.
Oh my God, yeah. Hang on, can we talk about that real quick? What do you think of that? Like, I'm honestly not surprised. I told my buddy when Elon went to go acquire Twitter that his full end game was a place where you can use Dogecoin, some sort of marketplace where it can be utilized and actually mean something. And I feel like with the rebranding of X, that's where like there's a little part of that's where it's going.
Yeah, it could be. I think that he wasn't in the news for a certain amount of time and just said we got to do something.
What do you mean? He's about to do a fight with Mark Zuckerberg.
I'm talking about his company. I'm just saying, it's time. He's of the mind that any publicity is good.
True.
I don't blame him.
It's got a lot of people talking on Twitter right now because literally everybody's just bashing it. That's all they're doing when they don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, everyone bashes change first, and then not. So a few things besides that was, I don't know what you want to run down today, but you mentioned something. I saw something about Faze Clan. And then to just go back a little bit before we talk about that, whatever happened with the Go Rocket Girl stuff? I followed it for a couple of days, and then nothing. I lost sight of it.
She ended up not going to LAN, and one of the last tweets that I saw, which is, I think the night we were talking. Oh no, it's X now. It is rebranded.
Yeah, I saw it earlier when I was on there.
I have hang on. So I have 2 tabs open. One of them is still the Twitter bird, and one of them is now X because I just duplicated that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take a little bit for them to totally. There's a lot of caching on your browser. A lot of things like that. You want to speed up web browsers when you go to them. So a lot of that stuff is already there. It's the other data that needs to be pulled that is new most of the time. So it'll take a little bit for it to fully go away for you.
True. So Go Rocket Girl last we had saw was what was it? Oh, she was gonna go to LAN, and then all of a sudden she decided, like, she said her health, she wasn't gonna be able to. But she had a tweet, and I think the night that this was all happening is kind of what I was alluding to. What could happen when like OSM and them were going at her really hard. Not saying it's not warranted if the evidence is there, but she talked about doing a defamation lawsuit, which, in all intents and purposes, right now, if she was to do a defamation lawsuit, she would win, because what they are claiming, what they are wanting, she has never been tried in the court of law. Now, is that really something she wants to go down? Because then a lot of stuff's going to come out? No, probably not, but who knows if that's what she'll actually do. Like, one of the worst part was, and this is when it comes to how young, it talks about how young the community is, one of the individuals who had the evidence, he had a video of him like deleting the messages in Discord when I'm watching the video of him doing this, and literally it's like, why you are deleting all the evidence. It doesn't matter if you have it on a video at that point. Now that there's a chance, like Discord would have to come in and help you out and pull that information of the stuff that you deleted if they can. I don't know what's all in the realm of possible for Discord. I don't know if you delete something, how long they keep it in their backlogs. But yeah, outside of that, haven't seen a whole lot being said. It's kind of been very quiet.
All right. I was just curious. Again, it was someone who we wanted to have on the show early on, a couple of months ago, and then it got crazy with how many people we were able to secure after that. And I was going to reach back out to her and see, but then all that happened, and I didn't know where I should land with it. Not because of anything negative, but because of how much. So I mean, people sometimes kind of go away for a little bit, so when they come back, it's swept on, like, just it's not as bad. But I was just curious what you knew.
Yeah, because that all happened right before Worlds, and she's been tweeting and everything, but I haven't seen any more than what we saw that night and leading up to Worlds. I'm sure her not going to Worlds really brought a lot of that, like a lot of the attention down, because it was a situation that ended up not happening. B Davis, considering all the shitty stuff that can happen, I'm sure Discord has a healthy retention policy. I bet you they do, especially with the idiot who was putting classified documents on Discord. So they probably do. But yeah, other than that, nothing else has come to light. I mean, I do wish that if it is that serious, if she is doing that, I would hope they would take it to the authorities and have something done about it, than just sitting there talking about it on Twitter and then nothing happens. Because if that person is a predator, then we need to make sure that person can't do that anymore. And you just, we got her out, we calmed her down on Twitter and whatnot. Like, you didn't help anything. You just,
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it seemed like it was grab your pitchforks and chase her down the street, and then people got exhausted and decided, what are we doing here? And then
right.
she said, "What are you guys doing?"
Well, she threatened with
I don't know.
defamation, and that it died down after she threatened with a defamation lawsuit.
All right, fair enough. Well,
So
we'll leave it alone for now until we find out more. But I just thought it was one of those things we talked about briefly, and I thought, it's been a few weeks. Let's see where it's at.
yeah,
So what
that's a
else?
good one.
What did I say? Faze Clan.
So news coming out today is that Faze Clan eyeing 2 acquisition offers, following their not so good luck on the stock market, which I always thought was a weird move for them, anyways, as a gaming company, and not only a gaming company, but you're just a content creator company. Not really sure who you're not going to get your blue collared person to put their hard-earned checks into that. I don't feel, and I don't like it. It was a weird thing, but definitely everything that I've heard about it too, with them doing that then took a lot of the control out of the originators of Faze Clan, and now it's in, as they would say, the suits, which makes sense. You went to that business model. You took it right out of your hands. But looking back, they went onto the stock market, valued the company. The company was valued at $725 million. However, the company and its stock quickly fell off, prompting NASDAQ to issue a delisting notice in March after Faze failed to close trading over $1 minimum for 30 consecutive days. Faze was given until September 19th to rectify its price woes. Some things that are being talked about company-wise, one of them is GameSquare. GameSquare has Cowboys owner Jerry Jones as his majority investor. The company has the complexity-backed esports team of Rocket League, Counter-Strike, FIFA, Madden, Fortnite, Apex Legends, and a number of high-profile streamers. We all know that Tim the Tapman is a part of Complexity. What I didn't know is that Ninja is a CIO of GameSquare. And I had to go look up what CIO meant. Do you know what it means? I'm sure you do.
For who is?
The term CIO of a company.
Oh, yeah. It's some about it's an officer. It's information or something.
Chief Information Officer.
Yeah.
So, and that is what Ninja is to GameSquare. Don't really know what a Chief Information Officer does. I will have to look more into that. It sounds a little, I don't know. To me, it's one of those made up titles that you give somebody. But yeah, that's one of the big ones. There was another one too.
I think it's a technical job, which is interesting. I'm just thinking about who I know because we don't have one. Like CTO is the chief technical officer, but CIO probably something to do with information technology. I'm not sure though.
All right, hang on. A chief information officer is the corporate executive in charge of information technology strategy and implementation.
Yeah, there you go.
In addition to overseeing the hardware, software, and data that help other members of the C-suite do their jobs effectively, the CIO must research new technologies, strategize how technology can provide business value, and address the risks associated with digital information. So, I want to know what he does when he's not streaming or playing golf then.
Nothing. That's C-level. That's what C-level employees do.
B. Davis saying Chief Delegation Officer. Am I right? Yeah. He should be a CDO, not a CIO. But yeah, so Faze is on the route to get bought out, which goes with kind of what I have been saying, that when it comes to Rocket, how does this pertain to Rocket League? Well, this pertains to Rocket League because they have, as far as we know, a very highly paid player on their roster. And that would mean that if I'm sure, knowing Faze Clan, they probably signed him to a ridiculous contract because they were like, oh yeah, we'll give him, I mean, Tfue had one of those ridiculous contracts with Faze. But since we don't know the actual details of First Killer's contract, I can only imagine it's for a couple of years. And when did he join Faze? He joined Faze in 2021. So it's only been 2 years. And I'm going to take a wild guess and say they gave him a 5-year contract. Now, if they gave him a 5-year contract, we're only in year 2, that would tell me that there's got to be at least 3 years left on it, and they're going to try and sell it off to somebody. And B. Davis, to answer your question, no, Rocket League is not a league yet. But there are rumors. Go listen to our episode last week with Raw Greg and listen back to what all the rumors that we talked about when it comes to changes that are coming this following season with Rocket League. One of them being that we're going to have a 5-month break of competitive Rocket League play, and it may not start until 1 Jan in 2024. But Hat Dad joining us in the chat too. Hat Dad, how are you doing?
Hat diggity dad.
But yeah, if Faze does go, Faze sells. I mean, it's weird, right? The Faze selling isn't weird. It just, I kind of reflect back on what Raw Greg was talking about and how he kept saying there could be this combine, like a lot of teams in NA are gonna draw down to just a particular few, like they're gonna combine. And with this news coming out, it does seem to be that case. And are we gonna see some quote unquote super teams being built going into the 2024 season?
I doubt they'll hold to multiple.
You doubt the what?
they'll hold multiple teams. Although some esports do that, don't they? They have like a blue and a black and a red, but I feel like those are more feeder teams. Like one of them is their pro team, one of them's like their amateur team, and one of them's like their bubble team.
Right. The
And
only place we've
here,
really seen that is in CRL so far.
yeah,
CRL they have multiple schools have 2 teams. But I mean, if they get acquired by Game Square, then Game Square could still run Faze and Complexity. And now you have this, I don't know. You know what it almost turns into? Like Red Bull in F1. You have Alpha Tauri, who is your junior team, and then you have Red Bull, who is your main team, your varsity team. And then you almost start building that kind of situation if say they get acquired by Game Square.
yeah. I don't know what that looks like for them on the team side. Acquisitions can get tricky. What happens is there's people doing the same job in both companies,
Mm-hmm.
so they end up having to let people go, right? This happens all the time. This is happening right now with some big companies. You can just go look it up. There's financial companies out there doing this right now that have acquired a company and now they have to let people go. And I think so they'll let go of managers and probably marketing people on one side or whatever and combine assets, and probably the team, one of the teams will be let go or players will be let go to form a team, and then that team will have to go get reorg somewhere else.
I feel like it's exact. I feel like for the Rocket League side, the team's gonna be let go. Hat Dad, that was exactly what I was thinking when you were talking about that. I just thought of like F1. Yeah, I could see it going like F1 if they were to do. They won't do it with those players. All right. So first, Sipical and Mist, they won't be on the junior team. That's gonna be I guess more of a place for like a bubble team to get signed. And then they can play there and play for that org and have some sort of backing. But yeah, it would definitely be interesting. I didn't think FaZe would get completely sold, but it does make sense if the stock isn't doing good, if they're just losing money right now. I mean, hell, they're paying money to LeBron James's kid Bronny. Like, there's no way. Like, they're definitely struggling to stay afloat, and I can't even say that I see him putting anything out for FaZe in the last 6 months. Like, it was a thing. He was signed. He was playing Call of Duty, and that's all that it's been. It's been nothing more than that. Yeah, I haven't.
Fair enough. I mean, it'll be interesting to watch it over the next couple days or weeks to see what they come out with. But chances are they're going to have to make a change one way or the other. Getting delisted probably is the driving force, but
Like, that's a huge that's not good to get delisted.
yeah, I mean, it happens. You just have to stay above $1, isn't that what you said? Per share.
Yeah, you have to stay above $1 per share, which they haven't been able to.
Yeah, we'll see. What was the other thing that I was going to mention? Didn't they do the groupings for Worlds?
They did. They had the draft,
There's a
and
draft.
yeah. So for the wild card stage, you do a draft. They do the draft to pick the first round matchups.
Oh yeah, so they do a wild card stage, then they do a group stage, and
and
then
then
they do a
playoffs.
playoffs.
Right.
Single elimination bracket. How many teams make it to the playoffs? It's got to be 2, 4, 6, 8 teams will make it to the weekend.
Yeah.
So they start off with 16 teams, Swiss style, all matches best of 7. Top 8 teams proceed to the group stage. That's the wild card. Then the group stage has the 8 qualifying teams. So what's that? KC, Liquid, Vitality, BDS, Gen G, Faze, Ninjas in Pajamas, Rule 1. And then all the wild card teams face off to get those other 8 spots.
Correct. So the draft order went, Complexity had first pick, and they picked oh my god, I'm gonna fuck this up so bad.
Valiant.
Thank you. Good God. Yeah, they picked Valiant. G2 picked Limitless. Moist picked Gaming Gladiators. Pioneers picked Twisted Minds. Crew, they selected G1. Space Station picked Team Secret. Power takes Oxygen. And Elevate
Crew picked G1?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Elevate takes Team Falcons. Falcons obviously last one on the board. No one really wanted to pick them, which kind of makes sense. The one that's throwing everybody off right now is Oxygen falling that low to Power, because I guess there's rumors around Oxygen right now that team is in shambles and they may not stay together.
Fair enough.
They were talking about there's something going on within the team that people are not getting along right now. Between it sounds like it's Archie, there's something going on with Archie that is just not being a good thing right now. Get JJ on the line. Yeah, does JJ know what's going on within their team? But yeah,
it's wild, dude. Just to look at this roster, I mean, the 4 EU teams, I just in the group stage already, and then I just don't see who. Gen G, Faze, Complexity, Space Station, G2. Can anyone win any matches? I mean, what are we looking at here? When was the last time we saw any of these teams? I mean, maybe Space Station they're playing all right internationally. Anybody else?
Are you talking from the NA side?
Yeah.
Complexity can beat Valiant.
Yeah, Complexity can win.
I think G2 takes Limitless.
I guess I'm talking more. I'm assuming a few of these teams are going to get into the group stage.
Oh, so when we go past group stage into the playoffs,
that's tough though. I mean,
it's tough to see from this perspective because it all comes down to who do you end up. How does your group work out? Who do you play against? And then what's your bracket
that
run?
NA only has 2 teams total in the group stage if Space Station and G2 can't get in.
Correct.
Which is wild.
What we talked about with Greg. NA's in shambles right now. They're
just all over the place.
Yeah, it's not a good spot. As far as actually like winning the whole thing, I think the scariest thing could be is all the EU teams get into the playoffs. And then
right.
So yeah, Carmine, Liquid, Vitality, BDS,
spots,
Moist.
EU.
Yeah, that all 5 of those get into the playoffs. And now you have 3 spots up for grabs, which we would hope 2 of those could be one being Gen G, one being Faze. And then what does that leave? Rule 1, or does a Sam team get themselves further? I think South America is a team that could be a little bit of an upset going into Worlds. Because Crew is good. I haven't even gotten into the group stage yet. Ninja and Pajamas, they could be really good. Secret can also be really good. Like it's not a good place for, I think, for NA. But what's also weird too is this group stage. I don't remember the group stage last year being like this, where it's a group bracket. Do you remember that? Because 1, 2, so 2 wins. If you starting in the upper, if you win 2 series, then you're qualified. And if you lose, so it's a double elimination group bracket.
Yeah,
instead
it was
of
the same.
instead of normal group play. Was it the same last year?
Yeah.
That's wild. So yeah, so in Group A, you got Carmine, BDS, Liquid, and Ninja and Pajamas. Group B, Genji, Rule 1, Vitality, and Faze. So yeah, hopefully. And then this will get seeded out. Oh my lord, yeah, it's just not going to be good for NA. But we've been saying that for a couple weeks now, just because of how much NA has seemed to struggle on the world stage.
Yeah, it's interesting to speculate why. I mean, obviously, you could point the finger at a lot of things, but it seems like there's just not a lot of continuity in players and teams like sticking it out. I don't really know, right? Like there was so much that happened over the last couple of years trying to make these teams into something that I think they lost their way, the whole region,
but
along the way.
The bad part about using that example, because I'm definitely one for teams need to stick together, figure it out, keep working through and improving together. Is that if you look on the EU side, they've had just as much movement, but have had tremendous success with it. So, is it the gameplay, or is it just the people behind the controllers that
I don't know if I could just say it's necessarily movement and churn on teams, but the way that it's done, right? Like we've heard so many times the networking part of it, the friendship part of it, all that. I don't see that being the same in EU. You hear more of the best players want to play with the best players, right? Like they don't really care if they're friends.
Yeah, that's all we keep hearing from EU. But that goes back to the person behind the controller. And there is a bad mentality in NA right now of what they want, and really seems like there's players that are getting to that point, and then Greg kind of talked about it. They're getting to that point, and then they get comfortable, and they're comfy with where they're at. And like you and Greg both have the same analogy for it of being like, you got to stay that hungry dog. You can't be the old one sitting in your doghouse or in your house all nice and comfy, and then a new, stronger, younger pup comes through and then beats the shit out of you. So it's what they got to do. They got to get better. They get better. Yeah, just get better. Just get better. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, I don't know. There's going to be a long break again. I mean, it feels like this break to Worlds and from the last split, I mean, obviously there was the LAN and then Worlds is just as long, if not longer, than the break between seasons, which we talked about a little bit last week with Greg. There's a possibility that they're going to reorg the entire season, meaning there might be a longer break. So a lot of things could come about this summer with the future.
Yeah, Rocket League's gonna go through a big change this year.
RLCS.
I think we all see it coming. With the rumors and all the writings on the wall, there's gonna be some big change that happens, and with things like Faze, if they get sold, V1 supposedly being shopping themselves around too. Actually, even V1, I didn't realize content creator Chrissy, she is no longer with V1. I didn't realize back in July 5th from her tweet, my contract with version 1 is up after the season and I will be looking for new opportunities as a content creator. If anyone was interested, please reach out to me or Kavlo. So yeah, she's not even a part of V1 anymore. And I think so. I was in someone's stream and they talked about how V1 hasn't even like removed her from their content creator list. So it, like, to me, that's signs of no one is staying on top of things like that. So that tells me that there's not a lot of motivation there anymore. And that whole selling thing might be an actual thing. And I guess Gary V's
going
just
to be a lot of things happen.
Gary V's just done with the esports scene and wants to move on from it. I'm if someone like Gary V is wanting to move on from esports, then if I'm esports, I'm kind of nervous because it tells me that it's not. He doesn't even see the longevity in it, and I feel like that's somebody that if he sees the longevity in something, then he's gonna stick with it and keep going, not just jump off the boat and move on.
I hadn't heard that. I mean, I don't know if it's true, but
what, that V1's on the is shopping themselves?
No, about Gary V wanting to get out.
Well, I mean, he's the owner of it.
Yeah, he's part.
So I would feel like if he has a huge say in it in it going somewhere. Actually, Gary V. Oh, hang on.
Hang on.
I mean, it says he owns a pickleball team now. I forgot that. Yeah, I thought he was a big partner in it. Oh, Jesus, that was loud. I can't find it right now. Owned by Minnesota Vikings owner. We are proudly owned by Minnesota Vikings owners, the Wolf family, an entrepreneur and investor, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Oh Lord.
What?
Killing me with the pronunciations.
How do you say his last name?
I don't know, but that was awful.
Well, it's a weird last name. And I'm allowed to do it because I have a weird first name and people fuck it up all the time.
Yeah, you do have a weird first name.
So he's part owners in it. I feel like if he's part owners in it, then he probably has a big say in it. Or maybe he's a silent partner. Who knows? But yeah, even the Minnesota Vikings, not if they're really shopping it, like, that's kind of, I feel like esports as a whole, that's not a good look. It tells me that they feel like there's not enough backing in the scene. And when in the reality, it feels like there's not, because we've talked about all along. What's a league? Rocket League centric, right? Like, it's not a true league. It's not ran by anything. It's all just made up as it goes. It feels like, but maybe after this break, it'll seem a little bit better. What are you? You're like winking at the camera.
That was like the draw though at the beginning was anyone can make it. If you are a player and you have the talent, come play. You have a chance to get to the top. And now I just don't see how that is sustainable at this point. And I don't know if the answer is what we talked about with Greg last week, which was like franchising. So there's 16 teams in each region. In each region, the leagues or the orgs get to decide who's on their team, and now the players have to like fight for those. I don't know what the answer is, but it just seems so hard to follow if and create storylines and create drama and all the things that we look for in a sport and entertainment. It just fading, and it's unfortunate. And I don't know. I don't know if there's an answer for it, or we just need more of it. I don't know.
I don't know either. It's something that's rattled our brains for the last year. Yeah, even topic of like roster moves. I know Gibbs put out a video. I haven't watched it yet, but every North American team should make a roster move, is what he says. And yeah, if that's the case, then we're probably in for a huge off-season shuffle of players between different teams and whatever orgs are left from by the end of the season. Because if Faze Clan isn't even a thing anymore, then what are all the Faze nut jobs gonna do?
I know. I don't know, man. It's pretty wild out there right now.
I can't think of anything else that really happened this week. We don't even have the draw coming up. The draw isn't until, what do we say? It's August 6th. So right in the middle of Worlds. Yeah, it's like right at the end of the wild card. Is that but there'll
be more.
Twitch Rivals is doing a thing starting tomorrow. 2 days from now. Playing the participants are Fairy Peak, Scrub Killa, Jorias, Flitz, Nolly, Lethemir, Alpha Cap, Reddles, Arsenal, Critical, XQC is playing. What is this?
It's Rivals, bro.
Why are we putting... Oh, my God. This is what people get upset about. Because I understand what they're doing, but why? Why are you putting him in a tournament that has a prize pool that the lowest amount you can win is $500? There is no way that guy is taking a game off of any of these guys, any of these players, unless they just gift it to him.
Well, they have the format down there. XQC versus Critical is the main event of the whole thing on the North American
So
side.
it's not even a tournament. It's just 1v1 show matches.
Yeah, Europe has Fairy Peak versus Scrub Killa, and then Moxie versus Jores.
Oh, I didn't realize
it looks like
Critical
a 3v3 on the North American side. Nolly, Lethemir, and Reddles versus Flitz, Alpha Cap, and Arsenal.
I just realized who...
Creators with pros.
Yeah, it's Moist Critical. It's the owner of Moist.
Yeah, versus XQC.
My brain did not realize that at first.
They're going to bring in 100,000 people to watch it by themselves.
I bet you the Moist channel will... I wonder if he's going to stream on the Moist channel. He has to. And if he does, I guarantee you that channel will have more than Rocket League's channel.
Yeah, this is more of a show match tier than it is like an S or an A or whatever. That'll be fun to watch, though. I mean, but that's
it will be. I mean, another good one is Reddles and Art.
That's
2 days.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Interesting. Not even on a weekend.
Yeah, it's not even on a weekend. It's in the middle of the week. So, yeah, I don't fully understand sometimes what they're thinking over there at Twitch. Can a mod tell Hat Dad Gaming to stop sending me feet pics? Grand Huevo says, Hat Dad, please stop sending feet pics. If you would like feet pics from Hat Dad, please hit him up in Discord. I believe I saw an ad that he put out there. It was like $10 a pic, so enjoy. But yeah, Reddles versus Arsenal, that'll be a good one. Lethemir versus Alpha Cap. That should be very good. I think Lethamyr versus Alpha Cap will be a good determination of where Lethamyr is at in his old age of playing Rocket League.
Arsenal and Reynolds is hilarious.
Because Alpha Cap 25, old is Lethamyr's 28. He's old. But yeah, Reynolds and Arsenal, that you want to talk about the grudge match that the Rocket League community has from last summer.
Say he's old again at 28. Go ahead, I dare you.
In Rocket League terms, he's old. And I only get to say that because you're older than me.
Yeah.
Grand Wavo's 28 might as well be 100. In Rocket League age, yeah, you might as well.
Right.
Oh, can you please change our clan tag away from dad? Good God. I had some like 13-year-old that was, hey, dad, you need to rotate when you need to stay back when you're third man. It's like, shut up.
I love it. I love that beating kids and them being like, man, I probably just got beat by.
I've been playing Rocket League longer than you've been alive.
Totally.
So.
Tell him. Don't be afraid of it.
Don't be. I'm just going to turn chat off. That's what I'm going to do. Just Spuda says to do.
For a good couple of years.
I really need to.
Glorious. I just dropped something in it.
Yeah, I probably need to just turn chat off. It's not. I keep hoping that it's going to be a good thing, and then like just sitting here playing, and it's not a good thing. It doesn't.
No, get rid of it.
It doesn't age well. It never does. People just start bickering and whining. Can we? Yeah, as the Rocket League community, can we all please just be a little better when you're chatting? Like, come on. If we're solo queuing, I don't need you coaching me, especially in C2. No one's learning anything in that 5 minutes. Not at all.
Not at all.
It won't happen. I'm scouring Twitter right now, and I'm not seeing a whole lot. I'm sure there's something that we miss.
Yeah, we've got a couple guests lined up, but they just couldn't make it tonight. So I mean, I think we've gone over the small yet exciting bits of the current Rocket League community. I don't know what.
Yeah, everything that's going on right now, we've basically covered.
Pulse check.
How's your baseball season going?
The Cardinals
Yeah.
are not doing well. They're here in Arizona this week, so I can't even watch them because I watch them on the MLB TV. So I don't have the local stuff. And by the way, the Diamondbacks decided that they weren't going to renew their contract with Bally's. So now MLB is the ones that broadcast their stuff. So I can't watch it. It's annoying. So I'm just going to have to go to a game. I'm going to go.
Oh, bummer.
It's a day game. I'm going to go.
Yeah, we've gone to a couple this season. Went to we actually went up to the Orioles, up to Camden Yards. That was
Nice.
that was actually a really cool stadium. Hadn't been there before.
Yeah, me neither.
So that was a pretty cool one to check off the bucket list. Let me say that. We've been there.
That's awesome.
And then my son all of a sudden wanted to say, I'm an Orioles fan. And then we went to a Nats game and he saw their red hats and goes, I'm a Nats fan. And I'm like, yep, I kind of figured.
That's the way it is. They're super impressionable.
Very impressionable. Hat Dad's League. If you're looking for a league to play in, the Hat Dad League is back. THL Season 3. Be sure to be on the lookout for it. If you're looking for signups, hit myself or Bucket Up, and we will point you guys in the right direction. It's a fun league. It's a mixed rank tournament, mixed rank league that does do drafting. I'm not sure. I know last season they had the lower players draft, and I'm not. Was that last season or 2 seasons ago? That was the last season that they did. Yeah, they had the lower players draft. So maybe they'll do that again. I'm not sure what they have in store, but it's definitely a fun time and a good group of people to play Rocket League with if you're looking for that.
Totes.
Super
fun.
C3 is still going on. Tournaments on Wednesday nights, open tournaments. So be sure to go over to channel3.gg and sign up over there to see their events. What else? You got anything going on, Bucket?
No, man, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of things that are in a lull, and it's summer transitions, though. I mean, it's how it is.
Yeah, it's not. No one can do roster moves right now. There's no tournaments going on, so not a whole lot to talk about. But yeah, we do have some exciting guests lined up. One of them being Papa Rizzo. We will get him on here sooner than later, and then also hopefully our other one works out. I don't want to say the name until we have a date confirmed and they're able to come on here. But
another major RLCS contributor.
Yes.
That's in the scene currently and has been around for a long time that we've been able to contact, and we'll see the super crazy insights I think he'll have in conversation if we're able to get him. So look forward for it.
But yeah, without further ado, if you really want to know about rumors and stuff going on, I would say go listen to our podcast from last week with Raw Greg. It's a really good one. We got into a lot of a good conversation and talking points, and it was a good long conversation that we kept going afterwards. So go tune into that. But we are going to get out of here. You guys go enjoy the rest of your Monday night. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, or any major podcast platform, thank you for tuning in, and be sure to give us a follow and subscribe. But you all have a good one, and we will catch you guys later. Good night.